How's your head today?
Okay. I found out that I was allergic to grapes.
No way. There's nothing in grapes to be allergic.
I think
Weird.
if I eat too many oranges, I get a migraine.
Citrus.
If I
Citrus.
eat too much of something, I get sick.
The citrus and the orange, I can see that. Too much acid in your system because your whole chemistry is off, which is why you get the migraines in the first place. But I can't think of why grapes would throw it off. Sugar.
I have a lot of food allergies.
Sugar. When you have too much sugar, you get a migraine, don't you?
I don't eat that much sugar.
Doesn't make any difference. Your chemistry is already off, so it's just a matter of knowing where that balance is. And if you get off balance, then on comes the migraine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're eating up,
I just found out I'm hypoglycemic.
see, there you go. Same thing. You're eating the grapes, increasing the sugar content in your system, and off goes the migraine. So, dang. So how many, it would seem to me that in very small quantities, you could eat grapes.
But not for half a year, because it's still in my system, it stays there. Like chocolate.
Really?
For many years, if I ate chocolate a little bit at a time, I was okay. Then I started getting migraines. I didn't have chocolate for maybe 2 months. Then I went out and bought chocolate, I'm a chocoholic.
Yeah.
And then I would eat it and I'd be okay, but if I ate it again, I'd get the migraine.
Oh,
now,
geez.
I can't go near chocolate. I can't go near it at all.
So the glycemic index for you is getting worse instead of better.
Getting much worse.
Have they figured out how to counter that? Obviously not.
My doctor, see, I didn't know that you could, organize it. But my doctor had me get the monitor to test my blood. It took us a month to get the monitor. and then out of 11 tries on the monitor, one came back at 25.
What's it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be like between 80 and 120.
Holy hog poo.
And the other 10 tries came out saying that there was something wrong with the monitor. So I had to go through that all over again.
So you had to order another one, wait another month?
Well, it was done through insurance.
Oh,
so
that's why.
I don't know how I'm going to handle that.
Dang.
So that's what's going on with that.
That's too bad. I know my ex had migraines, and that's why I feel bad for you, because I used to watch her suffer when she'd get migraines, and ew, dang.
And a lot.
That really looks like it hurts.
It does.
And there's nothing you can do about it. You go away somewhere.
You can take painkillers.
She didn't ever go to a doctor's, and she didn't ever take anything that seemed to work. So, but she was just stubborn that way.
If I didn't take any painkillers, I'd end up I was in the hospital 3 times because of the migraine.
Wow.
Now I'm on an injection. Take an injection once a month. The only thing that breaks through is if I eat something I'm allergic to or don't know that I'm allergic to it yet.
Right. I guess you just have to watch the glycemic index on everything that you eat.
Yeah.
So if it's got a lot of sugar in it, you go, sorry, can't have that. That cuts out a lot of foods too, especially the good ones. You're left with protein and carbohydrates.
And I'm on a low carbohydrate diet. I'm trying to lose 30 pounds, and it's just not happening.
Well, carbs are actually really good for you. The problem with them is that the problem is what they're designed to do. They're designed to create a long-term burning for your body. So in other words, there's energy that takes a long time to burn. Most people don't get that, so they just keep piling in the carbs and they go, well, carbs make you fat. No, they just take a lot to work them off because they're doing their job. It's like putting the difference between putting paper in the fireplace and a big block of wood. Which one is going to work better? The paper is going to go up in a second, and the wood goes in and it gets hotter and hotter and it burns for a long time. That's a carb. So sugar is like the paper. It gives you energy right away, but it burns right up and makes your body really angry. Because afterwards it's like, you fooled me. I thought that was good energy, and then it falls flat. That's why you feel so down after you come off of the sugar high. And for you, it's like when you can't touch anything. All the good desserts and everything, you're going, well, I could look at it and smell it.
I have a very limited diet.
Oh yeah, you would be.
Very high in protein.
And unfortunately, a high protein diet can also make you fat.
I know.
So you have to be very careful about how much protein that you eat. Generally speaking, the average people should have between 12 and 14%, depending on their activity level, of their diet daily would be protein. And then you've got 65% carbohydrates, and the rest is unsaturated fats. So when you go higher on protein, you have to be careful and know whether your body needs that much or as much as you're eating, or if it needs more or less. And that's something that you have to work with a professional to see
I worked with
where
3
you are.
nutritionists and they all sent me in the wrong direction. So I'm not going to a nutritionist anymore.
Nutritionists, as well as every other professional, and as well as doctors, just because they have a degree doesn't mean that they graduated in the top of their class. They could have graduated in the bottom of their class and they still got that degree. And then if they don't follow up and do some good training after they've got their license, then that's just as bad. Looks like we're finally getting, boy, it seems like most people now are waiting till after the hour. And here I am coming in 10 minutes early to try to see what I can give to everybody to make the masses come in on time. Got a minute.
How do you know all about diet?
I have been a health and nutrition nut since I was late 20s. My brother had a PhD in nutrition and health. Wrote the NDR, which is the Nutrition Desk Reference. He wrote that book, which is the same size as the PDR, the Physician's Desk Reference. Gigantic book. And he wrote the one on nutrition, along with a whole bunch of paperbacks too.
I think I have to get, I like
30th.
I like vegan food, but it takes forever to cook it.
It's odd that I hit the button. Interesting. There's some people that says that they're muted, but they're not. Anyway, sorry, what was your last question? Or we're still waiting for the masses to show up, Bonnie?
I don't remember.
Oh, you were asking about my background?
You gave me your background.
You can go into garrisonbody.com. That's me. I'm in the midst of redesigning it. Pardon?
Is it Garrison Body?
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll try it.
Welcome, everybody. Sorry that it's only a minute after, so we're not really late, but I'm still waiting. We had 72 people registered, so I'm expecting a lot more than just 18 to show up. I'll give them another couple of minutes.
A lot of people come in late to your
They do.
class.
They do.
A lot of people do that in a lot of other things too, because they figure if they come in late, they don't have to listen to the whole thing, and they can put in their 2 cents.
Yeah, got him. That's like swatting flies. You have to wait for just the right minute and then hit mute.
Everyone, good morning from California.
Good morning. I'm going to mute you just because I want everybody muted to begin. And then if you have questions, raise your hand, or you can hit the reaction button. And then I'll call on you and we'll go from there. There's someone else that's still not muted. I hit the mute everybody. How about this? There we go. That should do it. Maybe. Arthur, are you online? I see you're there, but you're not there. Oh, clearing.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. We don't get to see your pretty face today, but that's all right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're 3 minutes after, and we might just actually start on time. Here's Vic's his 2 cents. Good morning from Sin City, Vegas. All righty then. I noticed in the registration there was a tremendous number of new people registered, and I see a lot of them have shown up. So we'll get started here in just a second. I'm going to introduce myself to the new people. And if you didn't know, hi, I'm Tom Garrison, and this is the SEO Tom streaming live. I'm a volunteer administrator in alignable.com for SEO for Small Business Group. So those of you watching, like there might be a cricket or somebody over in YouTube watching, they can run over to Alignable and find out. And I've been developing websites and applying SEO for about 25 years in both WordPress and Joomla. And if you wanted to introduce yourself in the chat, that's fine. Everybody say hi to each other. And I might ask this question as long as we're just getting started. Hands on anybody who feels like they would like to have a networking event for our group. We haven't done it for the entire time that I've been streaming or been offering the meetings because everybody comes to this particular group to learn about SEO. I thought about having a 1 time per month meeting just to be able to get to know all of the other members in our group. Anybody interested? Okay, I got 1. Really? Okay, 2. Anybody else?
Wow.
Got it. I don't know why it's not muting as they enter. It's supposed to. So 2 people, 3 people. Okay. Arthur, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I raised my hand came up in Zoom without my touching the reaction button. And we got 4 people looking to do, okay, so once a month. You'd be surprised, 4 people out of the number who are here, 22. So that's a high enough percentage. 5 people saying, yeah, doing a once a month networking sounds like it'd be a good idea. So we'll work that into the schedule. Probably last meeting of the month. What do you think, Arthur? You are knee deep in something, Art. Hello? Checking out the people. Moriam, YouTube coach. Really? Maybe he could coach me. Do you lose your train of thought? You are concentrating very hard. I won't bother you. Oh, I can lower my hand now. It seems like Zoom has allowed just, if I do this, I've noticed down below in the reactions, my thumb comes up. Oh, do you want to press that button? Nope. And when I raise my hand, it does the same thing. So Zoom is working on some interesting things. Anyway, we'll get back and we're going to show you today how to get in and check out your competition. And you're thinking, well, some people, they know right away, yeah, I would like to do that. And others are thinking, I'm not sure how that's going to help. If you search your competition, and you guys can all put your hands down unless you have questions already. Question? John? I have to unmute you, so hang on. Go ahead, John. Now you can unmute yourself. No? Oh, well, you have your hand up, and I thought maybe you had a question.
Let me take the hand down. That was for your networking.
Networking. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Okay. Sandra is probably just for the networking. You can put your hand down unless you have a question. And Barbie, you have a question?
I was putting my hand up for the meeting that you had recommended.
Oh, okay. For the networking at the end of the month. Right. Gotcha. Okay. So back to the reason that you're here today is to learn how to check out your competition. So whatever kind of a website that you have, whether you're selling chairs, furniture, the trinkets, whatever it is, you know who your competition is. And generally speaking, if you're not sure, then do a search under similar keyword terms to see who's on page 1 to find your competition. Once you find your competition, I'm going to show you how you can look at every page of their website to see what they did in order to get their SEO perfected, their on-site SEO. Can't tell you what they're doing off-site. All we can do is give you some suggestions, kind of get an idea of where they're getting some other off-site SEO done. But you're interested in how to look at your competition, who's on page 1 search results, and see what keywords they used, where they used them, how often, all that kind of stuff. And you know what? It doesn't take a long time to do that. So that's not what I'm going to show you, but I will here in just a second. Go over here to ranks. And you should all see ranks.nl on your screen. Stop me if I'm wrong. Now, on ranks, don't worry about the design or anything like that. Nobody's trying to teach you how to design a website over in this particular website. This is all about what does your SEO look like and how can you compare your SEO to the competition. You can get a free account, but you won't be able to do what I'm suggesting with the free account. So you understand it. Ranks NL is used by some major companies. I've been using them for a long time. Still somebody that I missed who is not muted. Maybe Arthur can catch them. So You have a couple of videos on this page that you can review to see what they suggest or how they use things. But the main idea is to look at the pricing, because the pricing is very nominal. You can get the free plan, as I said, for $0. You can only analyze one page at a time. And that's all you can do is the page analyzer. All of the paid accounts allow you to use all the tools, and then each one has a particular amount of limitations. Now, what you're seeing is if you pay a year in advance, you can get these prices. If you want to pay by the month, maybe you only want to try it for a month, that's fine. You can pay the $25, get 350 queries a month, and up to 100 queries a day. You'll have all the tools available for you. So $25 is pretty inexpensive to find out what your competition is doing and mimic it so that you have a good chance of being able to get right there behind your competition. Okay, so I'm going to wander through my list here and get to ranks so I can log in. And okay. So now before I get any further, I want to see if there are any questions about getting to this or what I've shown you thus far.
You gotta share your screen.
Well, now, why would I do that? You mean this one? I got so many screens that I have to monitor. I depend on somebody to say, well, I can't see your screen. So there you go. All right, I've logged in to ranks. And so you can see, did you see the homepage of ranks, Arthur?
See the what?
The homepage of ranks NL?
Yeah, it's up.
No, I mean, did you see the home prior to my changing it?
I think so.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's make sure that I get this into the chat. If somebody hasn't already beat me to it. Okay, there's ranks NL for everybody. I believe, yeah. Okay, I'm a little behind the ball here, looking at the chat, seeing your comments and things. All right, we got that taken care of. Page analyzer. We're going to go to the page analyzer first. Now, if you're in your account, you can use all those other things, but the one that's the main part of everything to do with ranks and why I'm suggesting that you come here, you're going to see this by using the page analyzer. Now, anybody, and I'm going to look here in Zoom, does anybody have a page, a website that they would like to have me check? I'm trying to figure out why I can't get into it. If you have, maybe this will work. I want to see hands from anybody to see by chance.
Amy's trying to raise her hand.
Yeah, there we go. Trying to, windows are not happening.
I see you, Amy.
Let's see.
Unmute yourself.
And what's odd?
I put my website in the chat, my website address.
Okay. Let me look at the chat here. Okay. amybrandt.com. Come on, fingers. Okay, let's see if that works. No. Amy, is this correct? Can you see the screen here?
Yes, it's amyebranchtarot.com. That is right. It's a Wix site. I don't know why it's not.
I don't either. Does not like it.
Huh. Well, I better figure that out, huh? That's an issue.
Let's try this.
Do you have any SEO?
Hold on, please don't shout out. That's why everybody was muted. Yeah, Amy, I just put in that in the standard browser and it didn't come up either.
Okay, I guess I need to know what that means. But I know we're dealing with other things here, so I'll go try to figure that out another way.
Well, that's a mess. Okay. Brad, let's see if I can find you in the list here. If I stop the share for a second, that's easier. There you go.
My
There you go.
website on the chat.
Okay. This should be interesting. A real estate site. Doesn't like it unless I put all the stuff before it. All right, we have success. Okay. This is my account, and that should, I mean, it's obvious, yes, but when you're using ranks, you're going to have the same thing. Using your account, you can look at any page you want. So I can look at whatever site that I want and see what kind of SEO they are doing. Now, yours in particular, let me see if I can make this easier. That was Brad, right? Brad, you still with me there?
Yeah, but that's not mine.
Okay. So let's take a look here. Yours is not YESREALTY.ca?
No, it starts with an H2 Premier Solutions group. It's up a little ways in the
Chat. Aha. That's what's going on. RBS Realty. So it's before the S Realty. We were doing Gary's, but I'll go up further. There's Amy's. Oh, here you go. The H2. Gotcha. Well, interesting day today. Okay, Brad. H2 Premier Solutions. That's what your site is all about. Do you see how I did that?
Yes, thank you.
What's your site really about?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Here, let's see. Let's take a look at the site itself. What's your site about, Brad?
It is probably similar to what you do. I do website development. I do we have Microsoft training.
Okay.
Office training.
Okay.
Custom programming.
Okay. So where does that appear in this information thus far?
Not seeing the website development. Now I am seeing, the custom programming, the project management, Microsoft Office training, that sort of thing, but I'm not seeing the website.
Okay, and the
Which is
largest
interesting.
well, the website development is what you mean, yeah.
Mm.
The largest letters, the largest font, and the darkest is the most important on this page. So in other words, project management is next to nothing. That's how you've presented it on this particular page. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Microsoft Office is next to nothing. You've given that a next to no, not much of any value in that particular word. Whether or not that is a valuable topic for you to have, you're telling the search engines it's not. Now, you've got two things going on. You got H2 Premier Solutions, which is the biggest thing. The last thing that you want to make prominent in your SEO is the name of your website.
Okay.
I took a beat there for everybody to understand, to kind of go, what are you talking about? SEO is not going to work well for you to brand your site. The branding comes from people coming to the site and seeing that you have branded it. And then, of course, how you're going through advertising or linking or whatever that you're doing. But the SEO itself is looking at what's on the page. What do you want people to know on this page? Not through the entire site, just this one page. And what you're telling the search engines, I want them to know about H2 Premier Solutions. And of course, the search engines are going to look at that and go, yeah, but nobody's searching that. If they did, you wouldn't be here. Does that make sense, Brad?
Thank you.
It's not picking on you. This is
No,
some of the
that's
things.
fine.
It's a matter of, we go back a lot of times in SEO and trying to figure out, well, how do you do it? And of course, that's why you're here. How do you do SEO correctly? And that's what you're learning. So for everybody in the group right now, make sure that you understand that even if I'm talking to one person, it applies to all of your sites. So write these notes down and make sure that you look at your pages and go, wait, do I talk too much about my business instead of the services that you provide or products that you provide? Because that is what your site is about. Remember, the biggest thing that's probably the most prominent in your mind is getting your name of your business out, but SEO is not the way to do that. SEO is all about getting your page popular enough for the search engines, not the people searching, but popular with search engines that you appear to the largest audience possible who is searching for products or services that you have. So they're not searching the name of your website, the name of your business, or anything like that. If they did, they would already know about you. You want to get new business. People who already know your site know how to find you. So you push them off to the side. They're in a list all their own. Your main list is getting new traffic. To get that new traffic, tell people what you do, how you're going to help them. That is what people try to search for. And if you think yourself going, all right, I'm going to go search blah, blah, because I'm interested in that. Maybe I need to find, light bulbs, because you can't find these specific kind of light bulbs that you have been searching for a long time. So you don't know who sells them. You just go search light bulbs. Then you realize that's too broad. Then you have to drill down. So you see kind of where I'm going, Brad. You have to think like you would if you were searching something new, instead of trying to think about getting the name of your business out. You want to let people know what you can do for them and what products and services that you sell.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. So once you have all that done, then you look through this list. Let's just say that we don't know who this is, but let's just say it's your competition. However, I want to go one more. Brad, who is your competition? One of the biggest ones.
look them up here.
What was the name?
Let me look it up first.
Okay. Well, give me a couple of search terms, and let's see if we can find your competition.
Well, you can use like Microsoft Office training.
That's probably a pretty good one. Of course, you're going to get Microsoft up there at the top.
Of course.
LinkedIn, New Horizons. Udemy is sure doing an awful lot. EDU. How about DOS skills?
New Horizons is one that's in our area.
Oh, so that is a an independent or a company that does similar to what you're doing?
Well, they do this all over the place, from what I understand.
Okay. Now, this part is important, folks. You notice we are not on the home page. And Brad, you should see that too. This is not the home page. One of the biggest things that people try to do is to get their home page optimized because they expect their home page to get to the top of the search engines. In your mind, you're thinking, I want them on the home page because they can get to the rest of my site. That's not how you want to think about it. Every page in your website has the capability of getting to a page one search engine results page. So make sure that you work on each page as its own. I want this page to be at the top. So that has a particular subject. Optimize that page for that subject. So chances are slim that you're going to find in most of your searches, the pages that you find in the search engine results on page one are not a home page link, just like this one. This is not a home page link. So let's go to another ranks page. See, you can open ranks as many times as you want, and we're going to analyze this and compare it to yours.
I have a question.
Okay, who's
Okay,
talking?
time to ask it. This is Amy.
Okay, Amy.
So since you're saying that what the SEO mostly picks up is services, does that mean that it's more likely that a search with an SEO would bring someone to your services page?
Ask your question again, because I think there's a different way to ask it.
Okay. You may have to direct me in that different way, but I'll try again.
Okay.
Since you're saying that what the SEO looks for are mostly going to be our services, not general other kinds of information about the business.
Hold on.
Does that mean, okay,
The SEO is not looking for services. The SEO is looking for what do you do? So you need to make that prominent on whatever page you're working. In other words, if this page is about dog training, then that page needs to be all about dog training and how you're going to help people with the dog training. If it's your home page, that's fine. But if it's not, if it's an internal page, that's fine too. Usually internal pages are the ones that get into the search engines on page one because it's about one subject. Your home page usually has multiple subjects. So your dog training may be one page of your dog site where you've got training, you've got kennels, you've got puppies for sale. You know, so those are three different pages, but your home page says we've got puppies for sale, we've got dog training, we've got this. That's why your home page doesn't usually get to the front page, though, to the page one search engine results. It's about too many things. The way to get your page, a page, into a search one search results is about one subject, because people aren't searching 15 subjects at a time. They're only searching one. Does that make sense? Amy?
It does make sense. I am wondering from like when I made the website, I had help, and I was told that all of that, there was like relevant catch terms that were on the top of the page and the bottom of the page. But it sounds like you're saying that's not how the SEO finds.
Well, the relevant terms are found, and let me back up. When you do a search, you can find things in the results of your search that indicate here's something that's relevant to what you just searched. Maybe it'll help. And at the bottom, it's doing the same thing. You searched whatever, and here are some things we think are closely related. So maybe those are things that you might be interested in. But it's not saying that you should use those terms instead of what you're using. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay. So the keyword terms, and that's why we're here at Ranks, if you really want to hone in, we're going to do it this way. We searched the website that's at the top of the search engines for something that Brad does. So it's his competition for at least one product or one service that he offers. Now, this particular website, this New Horizons, we are looking at exactly what's going on with the page that's on page one. And it's an internal page, so it's not the home page. So Brad, you can see he's got Microsoft Office in there 14 times on that page. It's in the title, it's in a heading tag, it's in the image alt tags, and it's in the description of that page. That's just that one term, and that's only a 2-word term. So you're saying Microsoft Office training. Here you are. It's 6 times on that same page, in the heading, in the alt tags, and in the description, the meta description. And that's pretty high. You don't want to go over that 3% density. So he's at 2.46. And the keyword term, which is Microsoft Office training, is as close to the beginning of the sentence as he can put it in several of those 6 places, which gives him the 78 prominence. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to know all of this stuff. You'll learn it as you're going through and seeing, what's this thing do? What's this do? You hold your mouse over it, it tells you exactly what it is. So you get an idea of, prominence. That's one of those things where you're going, I don't know what that means. That means how close to the beginning of a sentence was that phrase written. So that should be a note that you want to write down. Density, keyword density. Do not go over 3% keyword density. In some cases, you can get away with it and still be on page 1, but it's the rule of thumb, hold it below 3%. And as you can see, that's exactly what this person did. And then you can look through the other terms, Brad, that this guy used on that same page. But what's most prominent is Microsoft and Office certification. You can see that as what Ranks is saying is Microsoft Office training is not very high as compared to some of the other terms. But it's working for him. So look and study this information about your competition. Even look at the notes that they give. The headings contain the following keywords, blah, 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 blah. 99 visits a month from Google based on the current rankings, Microsoft Office training and certification. So it's giving you some terms that Google is providing this information to rank, saying, we've got at least 99 visits a month from these terms. If those are interesting to you, then target those terms. And then you've also got perhaps you can add these keywords into the headings to gain more traffic. So you've got those, but if you flip through, there's more. Microsoft Office certification. That's an opportunity. Another opportunity is Microsoft Office training. You've already got that. You're trying to hit that hard. So you have a lot of information in ranks for your $25 a month. This is basically set your site up almost exactly like this site, but you want to be different. So be careful. Don't just absolutely mirror the competition, because you will fail. You can't just copy and paste everything from the competition there. You've got to look at how the competition did it and mimic the way that they have done it, but not the specific words, except the keyword terms. Yes, you can use those. You can use Microsoft Office training, because those are keyword terms that people are searching. That's fine. You can use those many times in your page. So let me stop for a second. Any questions on that much so far? Because that was a load. And I know that everybody is going, whoa, that's a lot of information. Yes, but you've just had one place that for $25 a month, it's worth its weight in gold, because you can look up any site you want and get this information. So are there questions on this so far? And let me add that for all the new people, I guarantee you that if you think that your question might be a little silly, or maybe it's not quite as professional as you might want in this group is novices. Yes, there are some professionals here, but usually web developers and such who come to these meetings are trying to learn SEO. They know web development, but they don't necessarily know SEO. Don't feel intimidated. Ask questions even if you think it might be silly, because there really aren't any bad questions. No questions? No statements? No comments? Okay. Is that Moriam? Did I pronounce it
Yeah.
correctly? What do you know? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to ask that, is this similar to trends.google.com? Are you going to get similar results, or is this more accurate?
What's the site that you're comparing to?
Trends.google.com.
Oh, yeah. Trends is showing you if you want to see what's going on with particular searches. This is showing you one website, which is your competition. And you already know that that competition got into a page one search result. So you're going, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what you all are trying to do. Get your site into page one. So all you need to do is look at so-and-so that did that. And now you can analyze with ranks and see, how did they do that? There's no more question. You just look at, oh, they did this. They put this word in this many times. They put it here, here, and here on the page. And they have this text on the page. So in other words, you've got your entire plan laid out for you. What you need to do is make sure that you follow, put the keywords in the heading, put the keywords in the H1 tag, put the keywords in alt tags, if that makes sense, if it's logical. I'm going to stop there for just a second. Image alt tag. If you folks don't know what that is, it's the tag that describes the image. And it's just an ALT as you're looking at some code or looking to put an image into a page. There's the ALT reference. In WordPress, it's pretty self-explanatory. What description do you want in here? You can put in keywords for that description, but don't do it unless it's logical. So if you have a picture of mountains, you wouldn't put in a keyword term about search engine optimization. They have nothing to do with each other, and you're going to get sanctioned if you do that. It's mountains. how does that relate to the service or products that you have on that page? Unless I'm selling mountain climbing gear, I don't know how you're going to do that, because it's not relevant to selling cars or pharmacies or anything else. So be careful about what you do with the images and the image alt tag on your pages. Okay, so
as a sort of global thinker, I can think of a million reasons why the mountains could be about business. But I want to make sure that I'm hearing you right here.
okay,
That if I put a search term in there that made that connection, that I would be possibly penalized.
well, let's dig into that one. If I'm selling the Microsoft services, how does a mountain picture relate to that?
Reach your highest potential.
Okay,
Don't play small.
okay,
Right? The journey starts with the first step.
okay.
I can help you get there, et cetera, et cetera.
You can do all of those things in the description, but not one of those things that you suggested has any term that would get Brad in trouble, because you didn't say any of the terms that he's trying to rank for. So as long as that image, if it's on his page and he never says anything about, or he never puts in one of his keyword terms, that's fine. Because if he's got the image there and it says, this is the beautiful mountains in Afghanistan, Microsoft services. Oh, well, wait a second. You were fine until you wrote Microsoft services. And now that you wrote that, now you're going back to page 200.
How about if it's Microsoft, learning Microsoft feels like climbing a mountain range. Now
But
you put,
but
and I
he-
can help you get there. I can be your Sherpa.
but none of that
And you put
description,
Microsoft in.
but none of that description is describing the mountain, which is the image, and none of that description has his keywords. So even though you could put whatever you want in that image, Google's going to say, okay, you can type all that stuff into your image. You didn't have any keyword terms, so I don't know what you want me to do with it. Now, here's the reason an image alt tag was created in the first place. You have sight impaired people who have readers that read the page to the person. So as they're going down the page, sorry, what was that?
I'm just saying, if you try to do a workaround with Google,
It's going to come up and bite you.
yeah, it's gonna come up and bite you.
Yep.
There's, they're gonna know. But if you try to manipulate words into
Yep.
describe an image to get on page one, I wouldn't recommend doing that.
No. If you're going for page one, you've got to do it by the book. Let's say that you got to page 3 and you all of a sudden decided to use something like you're talking about, Amy. You did all that work and you're back to page 200. Good luck starting over, because Google's got you on the list now. Don't do something after all this work. Don't do something that's going to sanction you, because now you've got to work against that sanction. And if there are any developers with us today, if you're trying to do that same thing, all you're doing is hurting your client site or your own site. Because if you do get sanctioned by Google, and I don't have anything to prove this, but I can tell you from experience, you get sanctioned by Google, there is no telling how long you'll be on that list of being sanctioned, and no telling how long or what you need to do to get off of that list, or if you can get off that list. So just don't mess with that stuff. So when you're dealing with images on a page, make sure that the description in that alt tag is relevant to the page and the picture. Readers or the bots come through and they look at the stuff. They don't see the picture. They see what's in the alt tag and they see what's on the page. And for Microsoft services, if they saw a picture of a train, they go, what's that for? and you don't necessarily get points off, but it's like now the rest of your page has to work around that. It's like making it that much more difficult. So either dump the picture or get that description out of there. So, Maura, did that bring it home for you that trends is completely different than ranks? And ranks you're going to use to really look at what the other guy's doing and be able to do the same thing. I should follow that all up by saying if you've followed a lot of the competition, you've applied that SEO, and then you see that your page is on, let's say, page 3 or page 4, perfection at that point, because you've succeeded in at least getting to page 3 or 4. That's not horrible. That's not page 100. Now that you've got to page 3 or 4, you know that you can do a few tweaks to push it to page 2. Then you wait a few weeks and see what happens. And then you do a couple of other minor tweaks, and soon enough, you get on to page 1. Now, I don't know if I said it to the group already, but for all you new people, SEO is an experiment. That means there are no rules, no guides to say you do this, 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 and this, and it works. No, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do. So even if you knew a lot of the steps, you knew a lot of the process, do it a little bit at a time, because it's a process going, well, this should work because this term is really searched well, and that's my page is optimized for that term. If it doesn't do well, then something's wrong, and you have to go back and figure out what did you do wrong. Again, it's an experiment. So you are the absent-minded professors on each one of your pages. You're going to write, you've gone through the education of what should work. Now you have to apply it to see if that does. If it didn't, then you have to go, where did I go wrong? Or what did I do that's so different? And then you go back and you change that. Okay, so go back and share that screen some more. And up at the top, you're going to see this circle, which gives you a good idea of what is in the page. And the darker and larger the font, that means the more prominent that keyword term is on the page. You can look at other elements, and you look at the domain itself, and look at social, look at the Google positions. Let's just, out of curiosity, see what position this guy's got. Well, he does a lot of AdWord campaigns. So, Brad, now you know your competition spends a lot on that. That's interesting. I mean, Brad, you would learn a tremendous amount just from looking at the information that Ranks has pulled up on this competitor. And if
Is
you
that an ad that is that website, does that show that it's an ad on the search?
I think I used the page that I was searching from, so I couldn't tell you. But let's go back and see. It was
Maybe using that site, maybe using AdWords, but if that page is not an ad, then it wouldn't apply to that.
oh, Microsoft. Nope. Looks like organic to me.
Like he was ranking for position 2.
New Horizons, yeah. And New Horizons isn't up here any further. So
Does it say Microsoft training? Yeah. Position 2.
although it says 5 right here, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, that could have been a few days ago.
Sure.
That's something else that you'll find too, folks, just as an FYI. You hit page 1, and if you're doing correctly, chances are you might go, maybe you're in position 1, or maybe you're position 3 or 5. There's generally 10 positions on a page. So it's not uncommon for you to move around. Just because you attain a position doesn't mean you will keep that forever. There's a lot of things going on, and a lot of it has to do with your competition. Is the competition doing anything? So you have to keep that in mind. Competition can come in. Competition, you might find a competitor or maybe 3 competitors that did more homework on their SEO and pushed you from number 2 down to number 9 or whatever it is. So stuff like that happens all the time. Don't be upset about it. Just go, well, got to go in and make sure that I'm really solid in my SEO for that page. Brad, I guess we can move on at this point. It seems like we've beat you up, and I never mean to do that. It's just
That's
a matter
fine.
of,
Hey, I'm learning.
that's exactly it. Now, see this one? Here's your Microsoft Office training. The competition had just under 3, and you're over 4. That's bad. That means that the term appears too many times on your page for the amount of text on the page. So you can do one of 2 things. You can either remove one of the keywords or add more text on the page. And let me see. I got to go back to see your site and see which one.
Now, is that his keyword density or is it that site? Oh, that's his, okay.
Yeah. Yes, you could add some text.
Yes, absolutely.
You could add
Yeah.
text, and I would seriously consider the text that you add is, how are you going to help people? Answer that question by saying something, and I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that. Or are you having trouble with blah, blah? I'm going to help you work on that, or whatever it is. It's satisfying the reason that somebody is coming and looking for your service. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
They want to know, why should I use you? So you don't want to go on and on about you, other than the fact that you're saying that you're either licensed or you've got a certification in blah, blah. Well, that's helpful to tell people right away. Development, SEO, lead generation, kind of a big mouthful there. That's a lot.
Yeah, your message should be, a priority because people are looking for a solution to a problem. So right there in your top there, that's called your hero section. And you need that message immediate. If people are looking for, they have a problem with you, you have to answer a question, basically.
Does that make sense, Brad?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
your business growth partners, that's prime real estate to tell people what you are going to do for them, how you're going to do it. It's big enough font, and I'm worried whether that's, it's an H2, so you're fine there.
What was the keyword phrase we were just searching? Microsoft Office Solution.
Training.
Microsoft Office training was what we.
That'd be one of the things I'd put right in that hero section.
Yes.
Well, now, I do have that on a page, a separate page under services there, where it does drill down to more, detail on just the training.
And let's just look at this page, because you're right that this particular page may very well be closer to the competition. And it's true. That I probably, just like you were suggesting, I'd work on this page more than the home page because it's about one thing. So you're 3.76.
A little high. A little high.
And
Yep.
still
Got
high.
it.
You can use a little bit more text. You don't need to have a lot.
Could you check to see what H tags, Microsoft Word, Excel, if he has any HTML tags on them?
H1 on Microsoft Office Training, which is good. That's what that page is all about.
Office suite of products.
H2, tailoring your needs.
Your number one source is for Microsoft. That should be an H2.
This is an H2, and this Microsoft Office Suite is H3. So it's 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then that should be a 4.
Yep. Somebody did these correctly. Did you do this, Brad?
I may have stumbled into it, you know.
Well, you stumbled really well into this particular part that we're talking about.
Okay, well, good. Good. At least I did something right.
And so that everybody else understands what we're talking about, the most important thing on any single page should be in an H1 tag. That's a heading tag. That's called an H1. So in your editor, as you're editing, you're trying to type something, you can make something a heading, or you can increase the font size, make it a different color, all that sort of stuff. The heading is important, especially the H1 heading tag, to be on the page, because that tells the search engine, this is the most important thing on the page. This is what the page should all be about, or it should be, this is what this page is all about. So if you had that H1 tag about Microsoft Office Training and you wrote about mountains, then it's not the most important thing on the page because it has nothing to do with mountains. Kind of using the scenario from earlier. But you want to make sure that if you've stated up at the top that this page is about something, make sure that's what the page is about. You've got a call now. So it's a call to action. That's good. Got a call to action up at the top. Tailoring your needs.
He needs to increase the font size.
Yeah, the font
paragraphs. It's too small.
Font size is a little.
I think so too. The font, I noticed that the fonts are very small.
The line height is tall enough.
And I think he could easily get to page 1 if he would take care of his internal and external linking. It doesn't look like he has any internal link to other pages, and there's no external link. Based on the amount of content, he should have at least 2 to 3 links going to other relative pages within your website, and 1 or 2 external links to a higher domain authority website as reference to what you're writing about.
And I'm going to work backwards from what Arthur just said, Brad. Do you see what I've just highlighted? Did Brad go?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That would be a prime example of linking out to some major website. So you can link right to Microsoft where they sell the Office package.
Understood. Understood.
And that way it's over, it's done, it's out of the way. Make sure that you use that it pops up a new window. Do you know how to do that?
Yep.
Okay.
I do.
Never link out of your website without opening a new tab, folks. that's telling people, goodbye, see ya, I don't want you to come back.
Yeah. And use your attributes. You know, the no opener. I'm sure you know what that is, right?
Yes, yes.
But I think that you do have the ability to put some more text in. It doesn't have to be a lot. You want to keep referring to NL ranks. Now, I had somebody argue this one time, but I've never experienced it. My experience has been if I change something on a page, I can go back and refresh this page that I've got open in ranks, and it will show me the new result. So even if it takes like a minute or something for it to pick it up, well worth the time to change the number of times, add the text so that you have a lower density, and then refresh this page to see what the density is.
Sure to clear your browser cache too.
Yeah. If you get it just under 3, leave it. Now adjust other things. Brad, do you understand what prominence is?
Yes, yes, I do.
Good. You're doing pretty well, 77. You know,
You can bold or italicize your keyword phrases. Those, you know, if you're focusing on the keyword phrase, and you don't necessarily have to use the same exact keyword phrase.
mhm.
You can use variations of it.
Yep. Very quiet group today, I'm hoping, but I see a lot of people have been writing notes, which is good. That's exactly what you need to do. This is such a great tool for you to be able to go to answer so many questions about SEO. And you don't have to know all the whys and the hows. It's just follow this guy. You know, you're looking at the competition, go, okay, just do what he did. That's a great place to start. And then when you make changes to your site, it's not unheard of to wait 3 or 4 weeks before you see something happen as far as your SERP, search engine results page, to see where you've landed, if you've changed, if you've gone better or worse, if you're on page 2 or page 10, and know where you are to begin with. Then you can look and see how you're doing. Now, according to ranks, you're not in the top 100. Does that make sense, Brad?
True, true.
So if you were in the top 100, they would suggest a particular position. So if you make changes and all of a sudden you see that, well, you're on page 80, that's perfect for at least this point. You know that you did something positive. So continue that positive roll.
Compare the word training to those two ranks, those 2 pages. You'll see its competition is the word training is the second highest. See where it says Microsoft Office training. And then if you look at his comparison, you'll see training is the least used on his page. You there?
You seeing training on the page 8 times, so it's a pretty low. Office training is 1.65.
Go back up to the graph. And you see there,
Yeah.
training is the least used.
Yep.
And if you look at the second largest, Microsoft Office, he's missing the word training. And if you look at his competition, you'll see Microsoft Office training is their second most used keyword phrase on the page. So if you change some of those keyword phrases to Microsoft Office training, then I believe you'll do better.
Were you looking in the competition or in Brad's site? This is Brad's site.
He should be. understand why he wouldn't be, other than lowering the density.
Yeah, that's,
He's close, really close.
yes, I thought so too, because if you're comparing them, Brad has done what the competition did not. So as two people who've been in the business for a long time, if we're suggesting that, Brad, you could be where the competition is by making the adjustments down here. In other words, you have the keywords where they should be, you've done the work, but you went a little high as far
Yep.
as the density. So add some text. Don't change other stuff. Add some text to lower that density.
Okay, gotcha.
And if possible, you can move the keywords closer to the beginning of the sentence. But if I'm looking at this page, shut up, I can type. 3 matches. That's interesting. Visually, there are 3 times, but Ranks is saying that they're in there 10 times. So it's got to be in the heading, in the title, and there's a couple other places that we're missing. But you get the idea, Brad, is that you've done really well so far, but you just didn't know about density and the keyword and the prominence.
Yeah, I did not know about this tool, and I will
Well,
be jumping on it.
I can tell you right now that because of what you've done on the page, you got Arthur already in your corner and me, and so I'm saying, you can get to page 1 with
Okay.
what you've done.
Check,
Right.
Just
check his links, see what links are on his competitor.
Yep.
See what's linking in and what's linking out. As if he's linking out to certain sources, you should probably be linking out to the same source.
Trust me, I will.
Yeah.
And because you have all this information of who's linking in, who's linking out in this competition, yeah, you're going to have it all about over this competitor. So
The only thing I can think of at this point, from what I see so far, is how old the domain is. How new is your domain? How old is it?
It's less than a year old.
That could be that will have an effect on your rank.
mhm.
Yeah, I know that affects it. So
Do you have local citations and stuff?
yes.
I have a question about the linking out. Arthur, you were suggesting that Brad look at what the competitor is linking to and link to the same thing. Not entirely sure I understand that. Why would you link to the same thing? Why would not just linking out to other sources, but choosing ones that are the most relevant to you as opposed to your competition? Why wouldn't that do the same thing?
Doesn't necessarily have to be the same thing. It could be, I mean, being that the niche market that he's in and he's dealing with Microsoft, those external links are probably high authority domain links. So that's why, and that's what you'd have to do is, depending on your niche market, it's like dog training, for instance. You would want to link out to like the UKC, AKC, places of authority, to help your ranking, and what really helps in ranking is the backlinks, links coming into your website. You know, so it takes time to build them, you know, and content is what does it.
The sale, you know, we're closed right now.
So, and as Amy and for the rest of you too, when you're dealing with links, work on the other parts because links can be tricky. So learn a bit more about what you've done with the SEO before you get into the backlinks and things. Those are things more of after you've made sure, kind of like Brad's site. He's in a position right now to let that site move right into page 1. Is it going to happen tomorrow? No.
Yeah.
It may
Actually,
take
yeah.
several weeks after you make these adjustments. There's no way to know because we don't own the search engines and Google takes its time. Sometimes they get on it right away. It just depends on what they're doing. There's no rhyme or reason.
Links will happen naturally.
Yeah.
You know, because if your content is good enough, people will link to you.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best kind of backlinks. Now there are bad backlinks, but Google knows the difference. You know, they know what a bad backlink is, and most times, unless it's a really bad one, you know, you may have to get it removed. But for ones that Google knows are just crazy, just backlinks, they'll just ignore them. You know, so and like Tom said, you know, work on your content. You know, the backlinks will happen naturally. And be sure you link within your site. Link to other pages that are relevant to the page that you are producing, that you're, you know, creating. If he has another page of Excel, he would create a link, say something about Excel, and link to that page where all the details of Excel are at.
And Amy, even more to the point, why do what the competition is doing? Because the competition is on page 1. Any other questions? Bonnie, go ahead. You have to unmute yourself there, Bonnie. There you go.
Are we finished? I don't want to interrupt if we're not finished.
I was just winding things up, seeing if there are any other questions, and then that was a wrap for today.
Okay.
Inundated you folks with about as much information as I think you can handle.
Can you do something for me, Tom?
What's that?
Go to this one website, competitor of mine, and look at her source file and tell me what you think, because it was absolutely something I've never seen before. I put it in the chat.
Oh.
JessicaJonesDesign.com.
How long ago did you put it in there? Jessica Jones, there it is. Okay.
Now go to, you can look at the first page and then go to the source file.
Standard WordPress site.
It is? I mean, what about SEO?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't understand how to read a source file. Can we set a time for you to teach me this stuff?
To understand what you're trying to see in a source file, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, we can go over that. You can get in touch with me after the meeting. There's only a few things that you want to look for. Otherwise, you could look at this source code and inside of 10 minutes, you just get dizzy and say, never mind, I'm done. Source code can be very intimidating. So you get a hold of me after the meeting and we'll go from there. Amy, go ahead.
You're talking about content, creating content, and that will help. What about if most of your content is video?
What about if, what was that?
Most of your content is in the form of videos, not writing.
Okay. So everybody understands SEO is all about the text on your page. Did I slow down enough so everybody understands that's an important bit of information? Text on the page. Are the bots going to watch the videos? No. Are they going to look at your images? No. Bots only see code and text. So when they look at your pages, that's what they're seeing. And if you've got something in a video that explains everything really well and it really invites people, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You need to have something on the page that provides Google information that your page should be found. And of course, then they decide which position. It's great in
Good to
YouTube.
have short videos on your pages, because if you have a 30-minute video on your page and somebody only watches it for 2 minutes, that tells Google that nobody's interested in your video.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good to have a video that's maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes as an intro. And if people watch the whole video, Google will know. And if you have 60% of your people watching the whole video, 2-minute video, then Google's going to say, hey, this is something important. These people like this. Videos are good, but they have to be a certain length of time.
You have to be careful about how you're putting that video in there, how much information you're putting in. Even if it was a 5-minute video, there's a good chance that people would watch the first minute and say, yeah, I just don't want to wait that long. And if there is a short message, and really that's what you're trying to get across in either a video or the text, you're looking for a short message that's right at the top of the page and telling people how you're going to help them. If you have a video that does that in under or right at 2 minutes, then you should be okay. But if it's 5 minutes or more, then they're not going to watch the whole thing. And even if that first minute was really good and the rest is blah, blah, you still get pushed back in the search engines because Google's they don't know what's in that video. All they know is that you have some keywords on the page and a little bit of text that's saying it's supposed to be about blah, blah, but you haven't proven it because you don't have enough text on the page. So they're waiting for the visitors to see if the visitors are watching the video. Now, if they watch the video and Google says, yeah, but there's no text on the page, so they don't care eventually. It takes time for them to understand that everybody who comes to the page is watching the video. And okay, you've got the keyword there. You don't have much of anything else, but people have told Google that page is exactly what they're looking for. So you can get to page 1. You just have to be extra careful about how you do it with a video. Any other questions? Wow, we did very good today. We only went 20 minutes past, Arthur. I want to thank you guys. Good questions, and I think you learned a lot today, and I thank you for coming. Come again next week.
Really appreciate all your input.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope that you actually get that Hummer onto page 1. I think that you got a really good chance.
I'll shoot for it. I'll
One
shoot
more
for it.
thing, Brad, do you
Yeah.
use Google My Business Profile?
Yes.
Okay, post there often, that'll help too.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
See if you can get some reviews in there too.
Yep.
Very good. Oh, Morham, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to ask if you offer these services, outside of here.
Yes, as a matter of fact, Arthur and I both do it, SEO and web development. So if anybody's looking for help on it or one-on-one or a full site, get in touch.
Okay, how can I get in touch? Your email?
Oh, you can connect with me in Alignable. Just hit the, if you find my name every place, just hit the connect button right underneath it. It'll get you right to me.
Okay. 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 Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Very good. Well, thanks, folks. Thanks for joining us today. Once in a while, go over and watch it on YouTube and subscribe.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Bye.
And there's Christopher down there at the bottom. I wonder if he's actually watching. Don't think he's listening. See you guys. Adam, you look like you're hurting. John, your head is hurting. Looks like John's screen froze on him.
I'll sign up for the call next week.
Say that again.
Someone's asking how to sign up for the call next week,
For the call.
meeting, the event,
Oh,
or Zoom
I
meeting.
have to post first. Is that what you mean? I sign up for it for next week?
Adam is asking in the chat how to sign up. Go,
Adam, if you're listening, I post the new event each week. Sometimes I get kind of late and I don't get it up until Monday, but as soon as it's posted, you can register. Did that answer your question? Okay. You with us, Adam? Get the volume off, I guess. Oh, fine. Okay. Yes. Got it. He's there. Okay. So as soon as you see it in the group, there'll be a notification that goes out to everybody as soon as I post it. And then you just go into the group page and click on register. So we'll hope to see you next week. And Christopher, are you still with us? Or were you here at all? Vic, are you still here? I know you signed off, but I didn't. There's Christopher. Hold on, Christopher. Vic, are you still with us? Or no? I know he signed off. I'm going to throw him over into the waiting room. There he goes. All right. Christopher, Arthur, Christopher. Christopher is one of the people in the cannabis industry.
okay.
And Christopher probably thought that I forgot that. Go ahead. Give us your spiel. What are you trying to work on?
First of all, I'm going to tell you that my name is really Susan.
I was wondering, Christopher, I expected a guy, but okay.
Yes, my husband owns the business, but I basically run it. I don't like to put my name out on the internet.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, Google knocked me down with the Google ad that I tried to do. I kind of knew I could never do Google ads. You sent me an article on a cannabis related Google ad.
Mhm.
And they said that if you're a cannabis dispensary, you can do a Google ad. But if you're selling products, no.